All right, House is still here. We're going to do some $1 million picks. We went 3-0 last week. Won $600,000. We're up to $778,000. It was about time some things went right, and some things did go right last week. We were on the right side of the Rams, which, sweated that one out, but I thought
50-50 game.
Cowboys and the over somehow hit last week against the Falcons. And then
50-50.
We hit an Eagles-Chiefs tease that we had to sweat out on both ends. Although I will say I love sweating when I have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I still feel like the sweat out was if Todd Bowles had gone for 2, we were fucked.
The tease was done.
The tease was done. No matter what happened with the 2-point, we're done.
If he had just done the courageous thing that everybody would have celebrated him for, going for the win at the end of that game, by going for a 2-pointer, it would have cooked every tease in America.
It did lead to the coin toss video of Mahomes calling heads or whatever, or somebody, whatever. The Chiefs win and Baker Mayfield kicks his head back because, of course, the Chiefs are going to win. Of course, on the biggest play of the game, the right tackle is going to take a step back 2 seconds before the snap starts. Like the Chiefs, it's just great. It's great to bet on them because they're going to get 80% of the calls. Do you believe in Raheem, our guy Raheem? He has that A-side, B-side thing.
Yes.
And the Chiefs are the most A-side NFL team we've had in a while.
1,000%.
People would have said, the Patriots got all the calls too. It's like they literally tried to railroad Tom Brady and suspended him for 4 games for the most dubious thing ever. The Chiefs get more calls than any football team I can remember since like the 70s Raiders.
Yeah, nobody wants me to invite you to take another shit on the Lakers, but you just did this. You just talked about how many more free throws the Lakers have than any. Of course, there's A-side.
They were shooting 10 more free throw attempts a game than the other team.
Yeah,
over a 2-week sample size.
A lot more physical. The Lakers.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
a lot more.
Wow.
The low post Lakers.
Speaking of physical, we're doing another tease. Feels. Especially with the way the favorites have been performing, it feels like a little safer on Tease Street. Still stopping at the flashing yellows, but I feel like I just can go straight now. There's no cops on Tease Street. I could just cruise through. And Heifetz in the previous segment mentioned the Eagles against the Cowboys with no Dak. The Eagles are 9th in DVOA. Dallas is 25th. The Eagles have the second in the run, their offense. Dallas is 30th against the run. They're 29th yards per play. Lawrence is still out. Philly's defense is 5th yards per play, 5th against first down, 5th against the run, 7th against pass. They got Dallas Goedert back. This line has kind of stayed at 6.5 because people don't trust the Eagles.
With good reason. The reason for the tease is Sirianni insurance. We have to buy off all of the moronic
Sirianni
things.
Schmuck insurance.
It is. It's Sirianni Schmuck insurance. I can't say that 10 times fast.
Sirianni Schmuck insurance.
It's that. Because that dude is a stone cold schmuck. So you got to have some way to get out of it. I mean, the Eagles teaser is a lock. You don't need to convince me any further on that leg of it.
Well, the best thing about this, Philly's now 7.
That's great.
The best thing about this is you can get it to a number that Sirianni can't screw up with a dumb 2-point conversion, going for 2 when he's up,
that's right.
17 or all the weird shit he does. So we can get them down to 6. And then to me, the Cowboys are, I said this to Sal on Sunday night, like it just feels like a 5-12, 4-13 team now. And I don't think there's any scenario for them to turn it around. I didn't think they were good to begin with. So that's one. And then the other one is Chargers Titans. And I continue to think the Chargers are just severely undervalued. And I'm mad we didn't take them last week against the Browns. We backed off. There were a couple Chargers injuries. Jameis was hot and it was a home game for Cleveland. There was good defensive stats. I bet it in real life on Sunday. But I'm mad we didn't have for $1 million picks. But
yeah,
House, did you know the Chargers have not given up 21 points yet this season?
I did know that. And, one big element of that, and it'll feature in some of my plays on the Ringer pregame show on Sunday, is they are so deliberate with the football. They use up, on average, like 31 seconds. They're number one in the league in terms of how much of the play clock they use. So they control the flow of the game, which definitely contributes to that. It's a very good defense. Again, I couldn't name 6 players on it, but that doesn't matter. It's institutional. It's Harbaugh and the guy that he brought over from Michigan, and they just play disciplined football. So, I mean, this is the 7.5 down to 1.5 against a Titans team where it seems like Will Levis is going to play. Is that
wonderful?
Please.
They've been crushing teams with bad QBs this year. Points they've given up: 10, 3, 20, 17, 16, 15, 8, and 10. And if you're going to make a case for Tennessee, it would probably start with their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
The good defensive stats are that I watched them last week. I thought they did a pretty good job with the Pats. They are first on first downs, first against the pass, second on third down. The Chargers, some of the stats are just phenomenal. I mean, they're in the top 5 in just about every relevant category. They're anything it's a run. I really like this Chargers team, and I think they're a little better than the good bad team because they have confidence now. They're physical. They're getting some guys back, and their receivers have gotten better week after week after week. And you watch them, and it's like Johnson, Josh Palmer, McConkey. Like, they have guys that can actually get first downs and move the chains.
Well, you know what's happening in over that same time continuum, week after week after week? Justin Herbert got healthy. Right. I think he really was hurt. I mean, he sat out chunks of games. Did he miss a full game? I don't remember. Early in the season. And his mobility is back, and they are taking downfield shots. And, kudos to Quentin Johnson for getting it together. They took him in a WR1 position, first round of the draft position. Good for him that it looks like it may yet pay off.
I mean, he wasn't even drafted.
In fantasy?
Yeah.
Why would he be?
He wasn't drafted. He was a first-round pick in his second year, and people were like, the Chargers have no receivers, and I still wouldn't draft this guy.
It felt like he was 50-50 to get cut. That's how bad his rookie season was.
Yeah, they rejuvenated him. So I think Eagles-Chargers is about as good of I felt about a tease in a while.
I love it so much. I really do.
My only fear with the Eagles is they have your Washington C words on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we've learned over the years the game before the game is always a little hairy when you have that big game coming. So that's the only thing I'm worried about at all.
It's a great observation. The other leg that to me got better is the Chiefs at home against Denver, where that line was in the 8.5, 9 range, and now it's down to 7.5 because people are giving so much respect to Sean Payton. I'm not saying that we necessarily should do anything with it here on $1 Million Picks, but am I going to play a 3-leg tease featuring those 3 teams come Sunday? Yes, I am.
I looked at that too, and I thought, even though the Broncos got killed last week, I still feel like they were in that game for an hour and a half, and that end of the first half touchdown just killed it. Once they fell behind 14 against Derrick Henry and Lamar, it's done. When it was 17-10, I felt like they had more of a chance. Something scares me about that game, and I can't explain it.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm with you. On Sunday, that would be a 3-team tease instead of a 2-team tease. But I don't the Broncos, haven't they played the Chiefs well the last couple of years?
Not really.
Am I nuts?
Well,
no?
there might be some moments of close games, but the Chiefs owned the Broncos.
Yeah, so they split with them last year. They beat them in week 8, 24-9. I think that was one of the 12 times in Mahomes' career have been like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? And then, hey, guess what? They're fine. I'm staying away from that one. Here's one that I don't want to stay away from unless you talk me out of it. The new coach theory is back. The Saints have a new coach. They are plus 3.5 against the Falcons this week. And in their first meeting, they lost at the buzzer by 2. Falcons are banged up. London's hurt. Might play, might not. Pitts is hurt. Might play, might not. Lindstrom's hurt. Jarrett's hurt. He's old, but he's out. I like that they already played and the Saints moved the ball on them. The Atlanta's defense is the worst in the league completion percentage, which is kind of ties in. So they have no pass rush, and
That's
they're not good
why,
at stopping completions.
Right.
Which are really the only good things the Saints are good at. Now they traded Lattimore, which makes me nervous because that means they're quitting on the season, the Saints. Their defense is 31st. That was with Lattimore. In yards per play, Atlanta's 7th. I don't know. Do we believe in the new coach theory? It didn't work with the Jets because the Jets ended up they lost by 3 to the Bills and did not cover in a game that we both bet on. So you could say the new coach theory is due, or maybe don't do it with the Saints. But I was taken aback by the dialogue from the Saints side about it. It really seemed like they were delighted that Dennis Allen got fired.
Well, I do think that they're delighted that Dennis Allen got fired, but I will confess, I am very gun shy when it comes to the Saints team. I personally feel like I had a hand in getting Dennis Allen fired because I bet on the Saints against the Panthers. It was my wise wager. All I asked them to do was score 14 points in the first half against the Panthers. They scored exactly 13 points. They lost they had a chance to go for 2 after scoring a touchdown where it would have made sense for them to go for 2 and get to 14. But I cannot, after watching Derek Carr, I'm going to have to try and figure out how to say this politely. What he did to Chris Olave.
Cash bar Carr?
What like the Michael Thomas response, I worry, like, do they believe that in that locker room?
Yeah,
does Michael
right.
Thomas still have
Saints.
sway?
I'm taking him off. We can't do it.
Well, Derek Carr might shorten that guy's career. He might be responsible for Chris Olave only playing 5 years.
Well, that's the most dangerous pass you can throw in football. I don't think he did it intentionally. I just don't think he's that good at football. The worse the quarterback is, the more the ball sails. It's something that Brady, it's the one thing he'll get mad at as an announcer when the quarterback leads somebody into a collision because he feels like that's your job not to do that.
Right. Exactly. So
we'll take them off.
They just scare me.
That's fine. How about the Steelers +3 against your Washington Seawards?
So I think it's a 50-50 game because you're going to go through and look at the Steelers defense, and it will be true that they have a bunch of very good numbers. And then if you consider who they've played, they really haven't gone up against any offenses with genuine firepower yet.
So can I give you the converse on that?
Yes.
I don't think I used that.
No, you're right.
Washington beat the Giants twice. They beat Cleveland, Carolina, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Arizona. This is the first top 10 DVOA defense that they've played. They've only played 2 in the top 16 of the league.
You're right.
Number 11, Chicago, they scored 18. Number 13, Baltimore, they scored 23. And it's very possible your team is 7-4 in a week because you got that Philly game on Thursday. And it's like, guess what? You would have taken 7-4, but this is a different part of the schedule than they've had to deal with the whole season.
1,000% true. And part of the calculus for why you would feel comfortable enough taking the Steelers is just Tomlin as an underdog on the road against a rookie quarterback. There are all these numbers you can look at over the span of that man's 20-year career where he eats up situations like this. And he will certainly have that defense mindset-wise, like, guys, everybody's looking to see this rookie quarterback against you. Here's your opportunity to shine. So that would be the reason. Personally think
there's another reason though that the running backs are healthy and it feels like they can actually run the ball on Washington. Now,
they better.
You like this Washington defense though.
I like this Washington defense against Russell Wilson because the Washington defense over the past month has gotten very successful marks in terms of pass rush win rate, and they put pressure. They've been very successful in putting good disruptive pressure on quarterbacks, and the Steelers offensive line had been rotating casts a little bit. I'm not sure if that's settled down, but if Russell Wilson is in any duress at all, then I like Washington's chances there. To me, it feels like a turnover or field goal game. It's a game where
let's take Steelers +3. That sounds great.
It's totally fine. I'm not talking you out of it.
Cards Jets. This is the line of the year. The Cardinals are underdogs at home against the Jets. I've watched football every week this season. The Cardinals are better than the Jets, and yet they're on my do not bet list.
Yeah,
because I don't trust them. I don't know why I don't trust them. They're 5-4, and they've gotten better, not worse, as the seasons went along. The Jets lost to the Patriots, played on a Thursday night against Houston that basically had one receiver and can't block, and it felt like the Jets were going to lose until this crazy Garrett Wilson catch that I still don't understand how it was a touchdown. The game flips, the Jets win, and it's Halloween. It's stupid. It's a Thursday night, and now people are like, "Oh, the Jets are back." I don't think the Jets are good.
I don't think the Jets are good either. But and again, to be clear, the Jets are on my do not. I have two teams on my. I will not bet on either of these teams. The Jets or the Bears. So there's no scenario in which you're going to be able to. I don't care what the numbers are, what they say. I'm just not betting on those teams.
I would have thrown the Jaguars on there as well.
Well, that's fine. They all have the same thing in common, which is dunderhead, nincompoop decision makers. Out there guiding the schemes. I want no part of the Jets' offensive scheme. Think about all of the conversation that we just had with Danny Heifetz and what Nathaniel Hackett did to Breece Hall this season. The number one pick in fantasy can't get off because the Jets can't get off. They spent all this money on trying to rehabilitate an offensive line. So to me, this Arizona Jets game, we don't have to bet on every game. We don't have to bet on that game. I would say let's not do anything with that game.
Counter. So Arizona's won 4 of their last 5. They beat San Francisco. Really nice win. I watched it. They got killed by Green Bay. They snuck out that Chargers game that I don't know how they won. I think the Chargers are good. They went against a good defense, beat them. They came back and beat that Miami team. Little resilience there. And then they kind of killed Chicago last week.
I mean, swamped them.
They really gave them problems. And I think what I liked about that game going into this game is Chicago has a shitty offensive line, right? And they were in Caleb's grill the whole time. The Jets' offensive line is a mess. I mean, they're not even sure who's playing this weekend. And Rodgers has looked old. And I just like it. So I want to do it. I know I'm taking them off the DMB list.
Well, look, make it the argue pick. I would say don't bet it, and you're gonna bet it. I won't take the Jets, so I won't take the other side of it. So it's not the argue pick in that respect.
Before Drake May got hurt in that Jets game, he was just kind of scrambling around and doing whatever, and the Jets didn't seem. He seemed faster than the Jets, which makes me think Kyler Murray against that Jets defense. I just feel like he'll be able to move around and do things. And what this Jets team. I don't understand why we haven't written them off yet. I don't get the line. It's insulting. Do you think it's a rat line?
No, I think it's the right line. It's a line based on priors. I didn't get a chance to sit down and look at the look ahead, but here's the part of what would help your case going against the Jets. C.J. Mosley, questionable. The cornerback, Michael Carter,
been bad all year.
Questionable. Yeah. 2 safeties, both of their safeties questionable. If they're not in perfect health, that defense, we've seen that defense be super gettable.
I'm taking them. Cards plus 1.5. The Rams are playing the Dolphins. And my first instinct was jump on the Rams. And I thought a lot about the Dolphins the last couple weeks. I watched that whole Dolphins-Bills game. I thought they played really well.
They did.
Their defense isn't very good, but they can run the ball and control the ball and move the ball, and they're hard to play. And this Rams team, they were super lucky last week. That was I still, if you're a Seattle fan, that was one of the worst losses of the year. You're just like, how the fuck did we lose that game?
3 possessions in the red zone in the second half, one of which turned into 6 points for the other team. Not only did they didn't go scoreless in the red zone, they gave 6 points in the other direction.
And I think the Dolphins can run the ball in them. So I'm wondering, and you kind of like them too. I'm wondering, do we take the plus 1.5? Do we do an adjusted line with the over? What do we do?
In the first place, Dolphins money line would be attractive to me. And then if you wanted to do an adjusted line where it's Dolphins -2 or something like that. The important thing to me, and as we handicap this, is for sure what you just sort of outlined, which is the Dolphins have been unlucky, and they are such a different team with Tua, but their
like
defensive.
They barely lost to Arizona. They barely lost to Indianapolis. And last week, they really could have beaten Buffalo. And I thought they really played well. I was impressed.
I'm so mad about that Indianapolis loss. They had that game in hand. Zach Seiler's back. That's the key aspect of this to me. Their ability to generate some pressure against the Rams and against Matthew Stafford, it really is dependent on Seiler being there, and he is. So that's a key element to me.
Do you see points in this game?
Yes, I do.
What if I was able to offer you the Dolphins plus 4.5 with the over of 42.5 at minus 115?
Wow, that's just like a standard. I love that. I love that price. It's the Dolphins plus 4.5.
Dolphins plus 4.5
and over 42.5. Yeah, in. That's a great one. Great job.
Thanks. All right, we're writing that one down. Dolphins 4.5 over. I'll tell you another thing. And we say this sometimes with the Rams, depending on who's coming in. The Dolphins have a lot of fans, man. And I think there's going to be Dolphin fans. That's a team that's been around since the 70s. They have generations of fans. Some of them live in LA. I know some of them. I think there's going to be Dolphin fans in that game.
It is funny to think about people from Miami flying to Los Angeles. Like it's not,
it's
not
like it's like a destination for them.
Yeah.
All right. Last one I have for you is the Lions. We're a little afraid of Nico Collins. Right, because it seems like he might come back for Houston, might not. And I looked at this initially like, no Nico Collins, no Diggs. Like the Lions are going to absolutely kill them. It's in a dome. I think this Lions team is great. So there's a couple of things we could do with this. You do the Lions money with the under 57.5. That's minus 111. So basically, like any score higher than 30-27 beats it. The Lions are favored by 3.5 in this, and something scares me about the hook, and I just wonder maybe you just lay the points. Maybe the Lions are that good. Maybe we've hit a point and just bet the Lions every week.
Well, they are 40-15 against the spread over the last 55 games, so that's pretty good evidence. You're going to make money gambling on the Lions. I can only come up with I don't have any X's and O's reason to not do it. It is the case for sure that CJ Stroud, over his short career thus far, has dramatically better splits at home than on the road. It is the case that Houston's defense has been very good on early downs. And the Lions are sort of middle of the pack on early downs. There isn't a lot to do. I think it's just, I like that Detroit money line better than messing around with the points.
So Detroit money line is minus 184. I was looking at the Detroit wins the first half, Detroit wins the game, but they don't have that on FanDuel right now because I think something goofy with the Collins. Oh, there it is. No, they do have it now. So that's plus 105. Detroit first half, Detroit game. What are your thoughts? Plus 105.
Yeah.
I think I like it.
I kind of like the plus money. We're just asking them to win the because
we're in on that one.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of things with the Lions. 7th against the run on defense. I think the only way the Texans win this game is they run the ball, they do the Joe Mixon thing, but I feel like the Lions can shut that down. The other thing is the Lions are first in quarterback hurries. Guess who's 32nd offensively? Houston.
Yeah.
Their line sucks. Like even the Jets were getting a Stroud. I just feel like the Lions can overrun them. Lions are first in DVOA. They've only scored 23 points once since week 2, the Texans. I don't think they're going to score points.
Well, and I'm looking, I messed up the number. The Lions are awesome on early downs, and so is the Houston defense. So that those two are neutralize each other. But Will Anderson might be hurt. And here's the thing that I'm reminded
Will
of.
Anderson got hurt last week. That's right.
Yeah. Here's the thing that tips it. Zadarius Smith. Do you think that he will be fired up to come in and make a great first impression and put pressure on CJ Stroud in this game? It's an island game, right? And Detroit will want to come out. Yeah, let's do it, man. Whatever you want to do with Detroit.
Lions first half, Lions game plus 105. We're doing it.
Great.
Okay.
We're doing it.
Last but not least, what do you want to do with this Giants blowout Panthers game in Germany? It's so much fun to root for. It'll be fun if they go up like 20-3.
I don't want to do it. I want to sleep. Why you're leaving out the blowout that I like the best this week.
What is it?
I like another blowout better.
What is it?
It's the San Francisco 49ers going into Tampa off of a bye week where Todd Bowles, as a head coach, is 0-6 going up against teams. This is the week where the injuries for Tampa finally catch up. It's a very, very tough spot for them coming off of that Monday night. And it seems like we keep saying it. Everybody keeps saying it. McCaffrey's going to be back. And it came at exactly the right time. We were not that far off this position last year with the record for San Francisco going into their bye right around kind of 500-ish. They came out and they beat the crap out of the Jacksonville Jag. I think they won like 34-3. I tried to look it up earlier. They blew the doors off, and Brock Purdy's nuts is absolutely
do that.
Brock Purdy's nuts. With this time, with Shanahan's ability to scheme and what they just watched Kansas City be able to do, I think they're going to be able to take advantage of all of it. I'm absolutely thrilled to lay the points. Anything under a touchdown for me with the Niners, this is the portion of the season where the Niners get going. And we're all like, oh, this is why we had them at the top of the NFC. Here's the version of that team. I love this spot against Tampa this week.
The Tampa defensive stats are absolutely abysmal. Offenses they're first of all, they're 31st in first downs, 30th in passing yards, 24th yards per play. And then you flip it the other way. The Niners have some really good defensive stats that I was surprised by. Like they're 5th against the pass, they're 2nd in first downs, things like that. So I like your blowout call. So now I'm wondering, like, how much of a blowout are we thinking? Would you go 14 plus? Would you go 17 plus?
I like
17 plus.
14 plus is in my neck of the woods because Baker is scrappy. Baker's been working. I'm so impressed by Baker. Him and Kate Otten are good for something. I really tip my hat to Baker this season.
You sound like Collinsworth.
I just realized it.
I just love this Baker Mayfield.
He's such a gamer. He's it's so dumb.
All right, so we'll do. How about this? Oh my God! Keep your pants on for this one. Niners win by 14 plus. Giants win by 14 plus. On FanDuel, it is over 10-1.
Well, for the record, I'm going to split those two up in my own betting card. And if we're going to put those two together, it can't be for very much money. It has to be. I was
thinking, could that be a 20K bet at 10-1 odds?
Great.
Or we just go separately on both of them, put 100K on each and hope both of them hit.
Why don't we do both? 20K on the combo platter. And what'd you say on each individually? 100K on each individually?
Do Niners. 100K on Niners plus 230, 100K on Giants plus 240. I like doing that more and forgetting the parlay.
Okay. That's fun. I like it.
All right. Only other game I wanted to mention, and we're staying away from it, is the Jaguars against the Vikings with Mac Jones.
No.
So you could go to, we're not betting this, but you go two ways with this. One is this is yet another chance to bet against Mac Jones with a great defense that we know Mac Jones, when you're pressuring him, it's a disaster. The other way to think of it is there some Ewing theory possibilities with Mac Jones this week with the money line? Is Trevor Lawrence even good? Like, we still don't know. What if Mac Jones comes in and he's good and he actually beats the Vikings? I don't think this is going to happen. I want to talk about it.
Let's do it. Let's take
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing anything.
5K.
No,
it's funny.
We're doing nothing.
It is funny. But I'm going to bet $5. I'm telling everybody right now, I'm betting $5 on Jacksonville to win this week because that is one of the funniest outcomes of the week. I'm definitely doing it.
They are plus 265 to win outright.
Fine.
You could do the Mac Jones. You could do the over with the money line, and that would be plus 568. Do the Mac lights up Minnesota.
That's a deep fried turkey. That's my deep fried turkey special of the week.
All right, here we go. It's time. The $1 million picks for week 10. Last week we won $600,000. We're up $778 for the season. Joe House and I are hot. House is going to celebrate these picks with an Arby deep fried turkey sandwich. They are not a sponsor for $1 million picks. We just love Arby's. First, tease the Philadelphia Eagles up to 7 against the Dallas Cowboys, who stink, who don't have Dak Prescott, who are headed for 4-13 or 5-12. Kind of like this Eagles team too. There's some great stats with them. Teasing them with the Chargers minus 7.5 against Will Levis and the Titans. We think it's going to be Will Levis, but the Chargers have not given up 21 points yet this season. They have crushed teams with bad QBs. All of these bets are going to be 200K. We're putting 200K on that. House and I really like the Dolphins against the Rams, even though I've been on the Rams all year. The Dolphins can run the ball. They've been super frisky the last 3 weeks. We're doing an adjusted one. Dolphins plus 4.5 with the over 42.5 in LA. Bunch of Dolphin fans there. You think the Dolphins could win this game outright?
I do. I think that what we saw that offense against Buffalo was like very promising. I like them very much in this situation.
We bought ourselves some schmuck insurance there because of the possibility of the Dolphins and disc jockey McDaniel controlling the whole game, and then in the last 6 minutes, all of a sudden getting skittish, and then there's Stafford going down the field, and all of a sudden they lose by 3. So we have schmuck insurance with the Dolphins. Plus 4.5, over 42.5 parlay. Next one, Steelers, plus 3 in Washington against House's C-Words. We just think this is a 3-point game. We're grabbing the points. No harm done.
That's it.
Washington has not played a top 10 DVOA defense yet, and we like the spot for the Steelers.
I'll tell you what, I'm not rooting against Washington, but the bet makes sense.
3-point
bet makes sense.
Next one, we disagreed on, and we're doing it anyway, and then we can argue about it if it doesn't work out. The Cardinals at home getting 1.5 points against the stupid Jets. And I'm just offended by this line, and I'm taking the Cardinals.
It's the second funniest outcome of the week. Rodgers losing to the Cardinals would be tremendous. So that one I will root for. I just can't, in good conscience, recommend anybody bet on it.
I don't think the Jets are good. Lions first half, Lions game in Houston is plus 105. Both of them have to hit. And we are now at the point of the season where we're just riding the Lions. We believe in the Lions. I'm not sure when they lose again. And if they lose, it's going to be against a team that's better than Houston. Houston's offensive line can just not carry them in this game. And I don't think they're going to run the ball in Detroit either. You love the Lions' safest bet for you right now in the league?
Yes. I mean, the math supports it. Their performance supports it. The addition of Zarius Smith supports it. Their coaching staff supports it. I mean, I tried to speak into existence the Packers being competitive. That game was over with a quickness because Jordan Love couldn't move. So, and Jared Goff had 2 gloves on, and it was perfectly fine. The ball didn't slip one time.
And then last but not least, we're putting 100K on the Niners minus 13.5 adjusted. That's plus 230 because we think Tampa, no disrespect to Tampa. It's been an impressive season, but from a talent, injuries, you're not going to be able to hang in this game.
Week.
We don't think. And then the Giants in Germany against the Panthers, who there's no way they're winning twice in a row, minus 13.5 plus 240. We're going to put 100K in each of those and try to hit one and hopefully both.
Be awesome. I'll have a Christmas ale for it.
And should we put 10K in the parlay at plus 1022?
Yes.
Put 10K in the parlay at plus 1022 as well. Those are the $1 million picks for week 10. You like these?
I love
It's a
them.
pretty good batch.
It's so fun. It's time,
All right.
baby.